Day 887 of this Trump administration, and on the eve of the first Democratic debate of the 2020 cycle, there is breaking news, as you heard, on another front tonight involving this man. Special counsel Robert Mueller has agreed to testify in public and on camera July 17th before both the House Judiciary and House Intelligence Committees, one after another, about his findings and his report on Russian interference in our 2016 election. Judiciary Chairman Jerrold Nadler and Intelligence Chairman Adam Schiff announced Mueller's decision just a few hours ago now. They both indicated Mueller had agreed to appear, this is important, despite deep reluctance after the two committees issued subpoenas. California Congressman Schiff spoke about Mueller's decision earlier on this network.
I don't think the special counsel's office would characterize it as a friendly subpoena. He did not want to testify. He made that very clear. Nonetheless, they will respect the subpoena. He will appear.
So Schiff there runs the Intel Committee. He also said there will be a closed-door session with his committee and members of Mueller's team. You may recall Mueller telling us all publicly he did not want to do this.
Now, I hope and expect this to be the only time that I will speak to you in this manner. I am making that decision myself. No one has told me whether I can or should testify or speak further about this matter. There has been discussion about an appearance before Congress. Any testimony from this office would not go beyond our report. It contains our findings and analysis and the reasons for the decisions we made. We chose those words carefully, and the work speaks for itself. And the report is my testimony. I would not provide information beyond that which is already public in any appearance before Congress.
Of course, members of both committees will now try to test that. His agreement to now appear and testify comes as this president is facing a crisis on the border, an increasingly tense standoff with Iran. More on that coming up, but tonight the president's allies are reacting to the former special counsel's upcoming Capitol Hill appearance. A member of the president's personal legal team spoke by telephone tonight with Fox News.
There was no collusion conspiracy with the Trump campaign. That was the legal conclusion reached by Bob Mueller. As it relates to obstruction of justice, as Bill Barr said so perfectly correct legally, no obstructive intent. So those are the two questions. So the fact that Bob Mueller's going to testify, I don't think you're going to see anything different in his testimony than what's in his report.
More on that in a bit. And one of Trump's strongest supporters on Capitol Hill made this prediction.
So it is case closed for me. So they can do anything they want to in the House, and I think it'll blow up in their face. The conclusions can't change. There is no collusion. That's what the whole damn thing was about to begin with.
And just a short time ago tonight, the president himself weighed in with just this, calling the latest development presidential harassment. That was the last we heard from him. And here with our leadoff discussion on a Tuesday night, Frank Figliuzzi, former FBI Assistant Director for Counterintelligence, Jeremy Bash, former Chief of Staff at the CIA and Pentagon, former Chief Counsel for the aforementioned House Intel Committee, and former U.S. Attorney Joyce Vance, who spent 25 years, give or take, as a federal prosecutor. Good evening and welcome to you all. Frank, we have reason to believe this is about duty, honor, country. He is a deeply reluctant witness. People should remember he is not there to do help for any specific political party, I'm guessing.
He is all about duty, honor, and country. So we should not get our expectations very high that he's going to go beyond the four corners of his report, as he said. But, Brian, I would assert there is tremendous value in America hearing from Bob Mueller. We're in a society that gets the news from Twitter, from a digital stream, catches a few minutes here and there on the evening news. And we don't read anymore. The hottest trend in the book industry is audible books. We simply don't read. And if Bob Mueller got on TV and read from the phone book, there would be value in it and Americans would tune in. And so if he simply sticks to the four corners and recites passages from his report in response to questions, Americans may be hearing those passages for the very first time.
Joyce Vance, here is Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler, Democratic congressman from the west side of Manhattan, talking on CNN tonight.
I think one of the questions that isn't specifically in the report will be, you wrote a letter, Mr. Mueller, to the Attorney General saying that he had, in ways, misrepresented the report. How so? But I think it's important the American people hear from him what he did find and what he didn't find.
So, Joyce, that's one interesting point there. This is a guy who is zealously agnostic, famously taciturn. How do the Democrats go about this job of questioning a guy they view as a friendly witness? How do you proceed?
So I agree with Frank on this one. I think that the biggest value that Democrats can get from Mueller's testimony is to let him tell the story of the investigation. Because for many Americans, that story still hasn't come into focus. They've not read the report. If Democrats will stay away from these process questions, asking Mueller about the investigation, what he did, what he didn't do, those are questions he's really not going to answer, and that would be an unsatisfactory sort of a hearing. But letting him tell the story of the investigation will be productive for the country.
Joyce, is the difference between a subpoena and a friendly subpoena the difference between a merely reluctant witness and a hostile witness?
Sometimes yes, but maybe not here. Mueller was very clear that he didn't want to testify. He believes that the report speaks for itself. That said, he won't be the sort of reluctant witness who's obstructive. He'll answer the questions that he can, but I don't think he'll hesitate to tell the representatives, the members of Congress, when he believes it would be inappropriate for him to answer a question as well.
Jeremy Bash, a double question for you. How do the Democrats try to make him their witness, and why have staff meet with staff, Mueller staff, Hill staff, in off-camera executive session?
Well, first, Brian, I think there are two areas where Bob Mueller will contribute to the record. First, as noted, I think he can tell the narrative arc of his investigation. After all, the fundamental question at the heart of the investigation is what leverage does a foreign adversary power have over our president, our presidency, and American foreign policy? And I think Bob Mueller can explain the extent to which Putin interceded on Donald Trump's behalf, the extent to which Donald Trump sought, received, and rewarded the Russians for that interference. And second, I think there is some new information that Mueller can explain, which is why did he implicitly state, both in the report and his press conference or his press statement, that the president had committed obstruction of justice? Now, he stated it as a double negative. You know, I did not find that the president did not obstruct justice. But what was clearly meant by that is I did find that the president probably did obstruct justice, but I couldn't prosecute him because he's the president. Over to you, Congress. If he just merely explains that in a clear, coherent way, I think he adds to the important record here. And as for the staff discussions, I think that's really to illuminate some of the classified information that still underlies the report.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.